something happening here. But what it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop, children. What's that sound?
All right, folks, here we go. Getting things started. Hey, I'm Darian Counts. We're doing the Darian Counts live broadcast, and we welcome your comments. I've got a little bit of a weird kind of overtone in my voice, so I'm going to ditch the headphones here. Let's try this for a few and see how it works. I'll try and keep my level of my vocals right here, or my audio right. Anyways, we're going to talk about something different today. I know a lot of folks, if you watch me and you watch my show, or at least you watch my Facebook page, you see I'm always tend to be arguing with someone regarding politics. I love to argue politics, and with the current occupant in the White House, I mean, it's what's not to argue about. But we're not going to get into that today. So if you hate my politics, hang out, because we're not going to talk about that. And if you love my politics, hang out, because we're going to get kind of nerdy. And this is just something that I came across this about 10 years ago, and I followed it ever since. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to present this little theory here for you. And I hope that you will take a look at it. And like a lot of folks, when you become aware of YouTube, whenever that is, whether it's today, a year ago, 10 years ago, 2008, or whatever, you kind of have to deep down into the conspiratorial rabbit hole. And there's a lot of different things out there, from flat earth to 9/11 to aliens to all this different stuff. So, hey, Scram, go. Sorry, talking to my dog. All these different theories and things. So I want to touch on one that's kind of stuck with me, and I can't figure out why it's not true. So maybe you can help me and just give me an idea of why you think this is not true. It's not commonly accepted by anybody, really. So I want to get go, buddy, go. I want to get an idea. Sorry about that. My dog is here, and he's making noise. He's been quiet for the last 6 months, and all of a sudden today he decides to make noise. So I'm going to show you this video. Now, most of us know that, or have heard that millions of years ago, the Earth didn't look like it did. The continents were all clumped together in one continent, one supercontinent. And actually, there were several supercontinents. We're going to talk about that. We're going to take a quick look at it and look at how that would have played out on the Earth. And then we're going to look at an alternating theory that I came across. And like I said, I can't figure out why it's not true. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people lined up to let me know. So if you want, leave a comment. And if we can address it now, we'll do that. If not, I'll be more than happy to have a discussion with folks as time goes on here, and we'll take a look at it. So I'm going to go ahead and start this video. So let's do this. Okay, so here's the Earth. Here's the Earth as it is now. And you can see how the continents line up. But what's happening on this, and you'll notice as it spins, this globe, and now here you see Australia coming along, but you may be able to notice now that this globe is shrinking. So they're shrinking this globe. You can see how Antarctica and Australia piece together nicely. South America and Africa piece together perfectly. And as this globe shrinks, if you leave the land mass relatively the same, they fit together much better than some of the other, than the continental drift theory. So now, and there's a couple of things here that this kind of leads to, and leads me to think. So now you can see what the Earth would have looked like, I don't know, 4 billion years ago, 3 billion, I don't know the time frame. And I'm not putting this forward as a solid, this is what happened. I can't see why it wouldn't have happened this way, but maybe you can share with me. Now, I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about why I think, or what I think are some of the reasons which lead me to think that this may have been the case. Number one, if you take a look at dinosaurs, especially the big ones, I mean, you had fireflies that were 16 inches across. Could you imagine that firefly? Obviously, dinosaurs as big as, I want to say houses, but they were much bigger than that. As big as 5 African elephants. As a matter of fact, let's see, what was the size of the largest dinosaur? The largest dinosaur, isn't it great? You can find that the largest. Oh, it doesn't say his size. World's largest dinosaur? Which scientists have both a femur and a humerus bones of the same. Oh, I guess I got to read. Oh, it's 110 tons. Anyways, I don't have the ability because they're going to make me subscribe to their crappy website, which is making me dig for the size. I just want to know how big this damn dinosaur is. I want to read the whole article. Anyways, we all know they were huge. They were much bigger than they are today, and maybe I'll find this out today. Okay, here's one dinosaur that was 35 meters long, 100 feet, 115 feet. So we all know they were bigger. So my point is dinosaurs were a lot bigger. How could they be bigger? Now, if you try and make something now in that size, it just doesn't, the bone density and the size, they don't hold the mass. That's why we're as big as we are. That's why our biggest animal on land is the African elephant. On water, it's a whale, blue whale, sperm whale. I think it's a blue whale. The only reason it's that size is because it's in water and it's not affected by gravity. My point is gravity affects how big animals can get on a planet. Now, we know millions of years ago these animals were much smaller. Were much bigger. So was the Earth less? Was the gravity less? So my point being this. If the Earth was smaller, the gravity would be less. Animals could grow bigger. They could go, instead of, it makes more sense that the Earth would acquire mass. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, where does all this extra mass come from? It comes from the same place the Earth would have gotten it from the beginning. We all agree the Earth started out as a little speck and it gathered up more and more and more different debris, molecular as well as macro. Big stuff come together, increase the mass increases the gravity brings more stuff increases the mass, and it continues to go. And it's just this never-ending process where everything gets bigger and bigger. Now, why wouldn't that continue to happen? Why would that stop? I wouldn't be able to figure out a reason why we wouldn't be able to continue growing. And if the Earth has continued growing, why couldn't this be a let's take a look at it again. Let's take a look at, let's see, here we go. Let's see if this one works. It's the same thing we just looked at. Now you have to excuse my little Filmora watermark there because I didn't buy their stuff. So, but there you go. You got the Earth, and it's sitting there just spinning. It looks like it makes sense. It looks like every other planet. I'm sure it's bringing in matter. I'm sure maybe the solar system was much more occupied by debris at this time. So it's constantly pulling debris in, constantly gaining mass, growing. As the mass on the outside accrues, it pushes down, ignites, and lights up the inside. And it begins to grow, and it begins to expand, as we're seeing there. And it now, if you look at that area right there you're seeing right now between North America and China, now there's I believe that's the area where in the Pacific Ocean where all the new land is. If they measure that land, okay, so this is a great shot here. This shows from the bottom of the South Pole, which you can see how South America, Africa, and Antarctica all come together right there, and they just seem to fit perfectly together. I think this is to me, maybe it's the symmetry of all this that appeals to me, but I would really like to know other people's comments, and if you have an idea, let me know what you think. Oh, I see Ron's out there. Hey, what's going on, Ron? I should leave him a little comment. Let me know what you think, Ron. Take a look at this. Tell me if you think this is a viable thing. So, and it shows them splitting back apart and all that stuff, and it just seems to make a decent amount of sense. So now, that's theory number one. But I want to kind of give you the alternative theory. Now, most of us have always heard that there was a supercontinent, Pangaea. But there was other supercontinents as well before that. The Earth had all the continents, and they were all spread apart, but they all came together. They formed Pangaea, then they spread apart, and they formed what we have now. But for Pangaea, apparently, there were a whole bunch of other supercontinents. So the Earth has been racking these continents together, spread them apart, ratting them together and apart. Why? We don't know why. I mean, I guess there doesn't need to be a why. It could be as random as leaves floating around in a pile of water. Sometimes they crash, but you know what? There would be factors on those leaves. Wind, magnetic force. What would those be? So we know the Earth has been changing. So I want to kind of give you an idea of the alternate theory. Now, this is the accepted theory. This is what science says. And when I say theory, I mean theory in a scientific realm, not theory of, hey, I got a theory. This is the scientific theory. Now, there's two theories. One is the plate tectonics using continental drift. Plate tectonics theory. That is the accepted science. That is the accepted science. Now, the other theory, which is an actual theory, it's not a proven theory, is the expanding Earth. But let's take a look at continental drift. See what that looks like. So now we're starting back 3 billion years ago. That's 3 billion years ago. Pardon the Phil Moore thing. You got to look right past it. 2.9 million years ago. There's no land. It's just the Earth was all water apparently. And then land started popping out. But where did it come from? Okay, now we jumped up to 1 billion years ago. Now we're at 900 million. You can see there's a lot more land. I don't know where it all came from, but it just rose up out of the surface. And you can see these continents moving around, and I suppose each one of these are there's some type of continent, and there they go. We're 700 million years ago, and now some are disappearing. Now notice they're all around the outside, like they're wrapped around the Earth. Why are they showing us from this angle? I kind of wonder. But here we go. Got 600 million years ago coming up. Oh, this is a supercontinent Panotia. Oh, now we're on the supercontinent Gondwana. Didn't they make a superhero from there, something like that? The Black Panther or whatever he was. So you can see these continents were at 400 million years ago. They're looking like they're kind of starting to haul ass. I don't know why they're going faster now than they did in the past, but it seems like they're moving faster. 350 million years ago, totally unrecognizable. What do we got? 300 million years ago, unrecognizable. Oh, there's Africa starting to form 250 million years ago. Okay, dinosaurs are now out there. This is dinosaur land, big dinosaurs, all kinds of stuff. Everything's going on. 180 million years ago. This is what's happening. You can see North America forming 125 million years ago. Now you're going to see this big ocean open up in North America. Boom, this big great inland sea. Then it dries up. Boom, here we go. 60 million years ago. Boom. I passed it, but the dinosaurs are now dead. Boom, and here we are. That's where we are now. Now, I don't know which one of those seems to be more like a smooth transition, and maybe it has to do with the graphics, but I would really like to know other people's thoughts, or at least your questions. I know my questions. It seems to make sense that the Earth grew. Earth wasn't always the size it is now. We know that. It had to grow at some point, so I guess the question becomes, when did it stop? Does the Earth not grow anymore? I mean, granted, there was a lot more stuff in the solar system at that time that it could pull in and use gravity to suck in, and maybe all the big stuff's gone, and maybe we sucked it all up. But what about micro stuff? What about molecular gravity being affected by, what about the effect on molecular material? Small stuff, atomic material. Is that affected by gravity? Well, we know light is affected by gravity. You know that black holes bend light. Other objects with high amounts of gravity bend light. So if a particle, or if a wave can be affected, obviously a particle of even the smallest size should be able to be affected, which means the Earth is constantly, even right now, pulling in material, and it's landing on the surface of the ocean, surface of the land. It's landing in the atmosphere. If there's a small or a large, even a regular sized meteor, the size of a Volkswagen, it comes in and it burns up in the atmosphere, but it's just dispersed. It's not gone. And that material is obviously going to fall to Earth, land on the Earth, and it's going to layer on top of layer on top of layer on top of layer, which are going to push down, which is going to cause heat towards the middle, which is really what seems to be what drives the expansion or the change in size of our planet, is all that pressure down there. So with the size of the dinosaurs, the common sense that we're pulling gravity in constantly, we're pulling in different items, why wouldn't there be something? So we're going to take a look one more time at this first video, and you tell me what you think. Going back in time. go, going back in time. It just seems perfect. Now, if you stop it right there, which I don't have the ability to stop this, but if you look right there, there's a slot, there's a little trench that goes right down the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and in that trench is where the new land comes out of. And as you go farther away from that trench, the land gets older. But none of the land in the ocean is older than 60 million years. Yet we've got documented documented proof that we consider proof that other parts of the land are billions and billions of years old. So, what would make it do that? How could this happen? I'm looking to hear comments, questions. Tell me what you think, and let me know. Leave a comment here, like the page, and we got some great stuff coming up. Join me in the Darian Counts show. We're going to be spending a lot of our Corona vacation here, going through some of this stuff and kind of getting into it. So I hope you guys, I don't know, I hope you find this interesting. If not, then turn it off. But if you do, jump online, watch some videos. Tell me what you think. I want to know why this is not true so I can put it past me. I know if I talk to a lot of scientists, they don't agree with this. But I've never really, the question that I've always gotten is, well, where does all the extra mass come from? Well, where did the first mass come from? Where did all the non-extra mass, where did that come from? Was it always there? No, the extra mass came from the first same place that the regular mass came from. At least in my opinion. Tell me why this is false. Anyways, I appreciate you checking in with us here today. I'm Darian Counts, and join our page, like it, do whatever you do, and we'll see you next time. All right, everybody be cool.
There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear.
telling me